The pastor walked toward me and did something I hadn't expected. He hugged me. He hugged me. Son, he said in a cracked voice, it is not too late to come back into the fold. When the prodigal son returned home, he realized his father never stopped loving him. The Heavenly Father has not forgotten you, son, nor has he ever forsaken you. He loves you. Come back to Christ. Alexander, before you are called to judgment alone. An excerpt from page 138 of Eyes Rising by James Michels. Welcome to P English Literature, a YouTube channel that conveys Amazon, Goodread, blog, and video book reviews coupled with interviews with authors. It's a perfect channel for book lovers, authors, and writers generally. P English Literature, the exact channel for you and me. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and to the review of Eyes Rising by James Michels. This is a sort of a crime thriller novel that I found very absorbing. It's another sort of novel that falls under the genre of urban fiction, and I so much love it when I read through it. I love the author's writing style. I love his storytelling techniques. I seem to admire it so much because it's one of those novels that hooks me in when I read it. It's one of those novels that actually reads like a movie. I'm so much engrossed in the storytelling techniques. I was engrossed in the way Michels writes his word and the way with which there's a sort of transition that makes it read like a movie. And when I read it, I actually find it quite moralizing. Like I stated in my written review, it's a sort of book that is not only coming to entertain you, that is not only coming to have you enthralled, but it's also coming in order to point out some things to you. It's coming in a way whereby it is moralizing, it is ethical, it conveys values, and I found it absolutely wholesome. Talking about the characterization from the protagonist himself, which is actually Alex, to assemblies and some other people, I found the book very amazing. It is one of those sort of book that I find quite enjoyable when I actually read through it. I love the author's storytelling techniques, I love his use of words, and most of the things that are written in the book have me engrossed until I finish arriving at the ending page of the book. My review of this book is actually going to be a spoiler free, and I won't be talking too much about the book. I just want to give you a short video book recommendation for you to have an idea of what James has had to communicate in his fantastic crime thriller novel. You know, I haven't so much read much of crime thriller novel. I'm just starting up in this particular genre, and the ones I've read in time past actually have me enthralled. But this particular one, I actually find it very absorbing. I find it quite evocative, and I so much love it. So before I proceed in my review, I'd love to read to you a synopsis that I found directly on the book's page on Amazon. When he was just a child, Alexander Lincoln was taught two principles. Number one is to protect those you love and stay off the street. But living in El Pariso's west side can make those promises very hard to keep. And when a drive-by claims the life of one of his friends, Alex takes matter into his own hand. Armed with a keen business sense and a code of honor, Alex adopts a new persona, becoming Eyes. The question is, does he have what it takes to come out on top in a world of violence, greed, and treachery? And can he still protect his loved ones from the dangers on the street? Eyes Rising, the first in the Eyes series, tells of Eyes' transformation from an innocent child to ruthless criminal on the street, where one wrong step can have disastrous consequences and everyone has their own agenda. And this is something that I find quite enthralling in this book. That's a feature that I find quite interesting in the book, because Alexandra is actually someone who was once a godly child. It's someone who was raised in a sort of a Christian family, but some circumstances forced him into turning a new leaf. Some circumstances turned him into becoming someone else. And I'd love to say that I love the beginning of Alex's good life and the transition to living a bad life and what eventually happened, even though there's some part whereby he was being spared of his evil. Even though there's some times whereby when it's a little bit for him to be caught, something would happen and spare him. So all of this transition makes this book works in a very wonderful way. It's full of suspense, it's full of action, whereby whenever you're reading, you'll be like, oh, is this gonna happen to him? Is that gonna happen to him? How is he gonna scale this through? And is he gonna be caught in this instance? And all of this feature, all of this dynamic writing style is one thing that I find quite exceptional about James' work, and that actually wants me to feel it as if like a book that I actually read interestingly. This book actually details the life of the protagonist, Alex, who was born in a biblical home, whose father and mother had took their time to train him very well, and he was trained on the biblical principles. He's also someone who loved protecting his family member at a very young age, and this is very obvious when he was trying to protect his sister, Kyra, from Andrew when he was trying to mess up with her. So it was actually this particular day that the whole scenario actually started from, because Alex had seen that Andrew loved messing up with his elder sister and he wouldn't permit that. So he went ahead and met Andrew and told him, get up from my sister. But Andrew was trying to, want to prove a little bit stubborn. The two sparked into fight and they started fighting. The fight grows a little bit intense and they have to be taken to the principal's office. So once they get to the principal's office, the principal put a call across to the parent and they both arrived. So Andrew was actually put on a 2-week suspension and Alex was suspended for 2 days. So once they get home, Alex was afraid that his father is going to speak to him badly, his father is going to rebuke him, but he was shocked when he get home and his father told him that, Alex, you did a good job. I work almost every day and I don't have much time to look over the children, your sisters, but you did a very great job protecting your sister. So from here, Alex feel a sense of achievement and was like, oh, that's great. If I can have a go for my father, then I will try my possible best anytime to always protect my family members. This story is actually the beginning of the whole scenario. This has happened for a very long time ago, but the scenario of the fight actually created a long time enmity in the heart of Andrew towards Alex. One would have think that this is just a male, child's play, but the aftermath resulted in something very horrific eventually, because this fight actually created hatred in the heart of Andrew towards Alex, in a sense that he's gonna retaliate in time to come. Alex discovered that Andrew had gone to join a gang. So when he gets to know about this, he restricted himself from going close to Andrew, because he has realized that he has turned to someone different. Because anyone who joined gang at that time, people are always afraid of them because they would not love to offend them so as to prevent them from getting harmed or injured. So all of this keep going, and Andrew began his life as a gangster. It got to a point, a particular day, whereby the boys were having a sort of a play in the court, and Andrew arrived here uninvited, like an August visitor. And here on the couch, we have Daniel, which is actually the younger brother of Alex, and another guy, Darius, in the field, which is actually Alex's best friend. So when Andrew got to the court, he pulled out a gun, or I think the gang put out a gun and shoot Darius. Darius fell flat. And there's a sort of a sense of remorse, empathy, pity on his face as he look at Alex. Again, they also shoot Alex younger brother, Danny, on his leg. There's a kind of a quick intervention. Some ambulance actually quickly arrived and they had to rush Daniel to the hospital in order to remove the bullet. But Darius died at the spot. And I think the people actually did it in order to get Alex pained, in order to, sort of a retaliation thereabout. So the aftermath of Darius' death have Alex feeling quite remorseful. It had him feeling defeated. It had him feeling bad. And something terrible actually happened. Because of Darius' death, her mother went to commit suicide. She walked into a moving train, into a moving bus, and she was killed. And a week after that, her husband, that's actually Darius' father, died of an heart attack. And the total, misfortune that befell Darius and his family member have Alex, feeling bad. And he gave himself a second thought. If he's going to protect himself and his family, if he's going to protect his friend and his society, then he needs to join a gang in order to stay free from this other wicked gang. So he was approached by Smooth. Smooth told him everything that, Alex, I heard about what happened to you, and I heard about how you were not afraid of the gun when Darius was shot dead and your younger brother was shot on the leg and you stood there looking. It's trying to tell me that you have a strong heart, and I think someone like you will be needed in a gang titled or called the Sons of None. So to cut a long story short, Alex eventually joined the Sons of None. When he was joining, there's a sort of invitation that is more particular when someone is joining a cult gang, whereby you have to be beaten, and if you survive it, then you're welcome into the gang. He was beaten by a lot of people, and they performed the ceremony, and he joined the gang. But he had no idea that what he was joining is gonna change his life completely. He was actually joining this gang in order to seek for protection, in order to seek for refuge, in order to seek for security. And that's one of the things where I actually find this book quite moralizing. Apart from the fact that it's a novel, there's a sort of an information trying to communicate here, apart from the fact that it's a literature work. And that's one thing that I actually love about literature. I don't just like reading novels that are not able to impart knowledge, but here it's trying to impart knowledge to students irrespective of the class, either in secondary schools or in the university. So Alex was seeking for refuge, was seeking for protection, and he had no other way to stay protected except that he joined the Sons of None gang. So when he joined the Sons of None gang, he had no idea of what is going to come after it. From the first time, it was quite smooth. They went for ceremonies, sometimes they hang out, and everything seems going. It dawned on him that he would start practicing something illegal in the Sons of None. And another amazing thing about this book is the fact that Alex at this time was around 16. As a story kept unfolding, it was around 17. And there's a point again that it finally got to 18 years. He started experimenting in drugs. He started experimenting in alcohol. He started experimenting in killing people. He started experimenting in several sorts of illicit, illegal dealings. And okay, I'd love to move another transition to Alex's family member. Alex's father and mother had no idea that their son, whom they've trained very well in the way of God, has chosen to follow the path of the devil. They had no idea that Alex, whom they know before, has changed into a different person entirely. So it was actually Kyra, which is actually Alex's sister, that have an idea of what his younger brother is up to, that have an idea of what his brother is up to. Danny also have an idea of what his brother is up to. So Alex eventually joined the Sons of None. And there's something that actually happened in particular day, whereby some gang were trying to rape some guests, and these guests were actually the girlfriend of the head, like the leader of the Sons of None gang, which is actually Smooth. So in order to retaliate, Smooth gathered some gang together, including Alex, that they're gonna pick these guys one after the other and they're gonna make sure that they are killed. Share the guys among themselves, like, oh, Alex, you take this person, you kill him, then you take this person, you kill him. And Alex at that time had a sort of a tender heart. it was new to the crew. He had no idea of what is going to happen here. And I love to say that I love the author's writing style here. Some parts are very humorous, which made me laugh when I read the book. Another part are quite enthralling. One of the parts that I actually find humorous was when Scott was sharing it, and the author was like, you were sharing it as if they're sharing pizza. So once they got to the killing scene, the first person shoot the first person, the second person go on, the third person did the same thing, and it was Alex's turn to kill someone. The person that Alex was going to kill is actually a mate in school, and he knows him very well. So he was quite feeling compassionate. Oh no, I can't do this. But they foxed him. You have to kill him. We've done our part, so it's your turn to kill. So once Alex pulled the gun, he shot the person, and he fell flat on the floor. So they heard the coop coming, the siren blowing, and they quickly ran into their car and drove off. They threw their guns away, they changed their clothes, etc., and moved away. So once Alex got to Madek's point, he was very remorseful. As a first-time person, he was very remorseful, and he felt quite bad. And he went into his room and started crying. It was like, what have he gotten himself into? When did he start killing people? Our sister Carlo came in and asked Alex, what is wrong with you? Why are you crying? What happened to you? But he was not going to tell anybody. He said, no, nothing is wrong with me. I'm fine. So he cried all through to the morning. And when it was morning, Scott called him and said, oh, Alex, turn on your television. Something is going on in the news. And now the news headline came that 4 people were shot dead, but one person tried to recover. The person is in the hospital trying to save his life. So once Alex heard this, it was actually the person that he killed, but the person managed to escape it. But eventually the person died. Initially, Alex was like feeling quite scared that, oh, he's going to implicate me since he knows me and I'm going to go to jail, etc. But eventually when he heard that, another news headline came out, the newscaster said that the person eventually died. So Alex was calm. He was like, wow, that's good, mission accomplished, he's saved. So all of this keep unfolding, and this is not the only criminal act that Alex got himself involved in. Sometimes they perform illicit insurance company, whereby they speak with people and they steal their car and the insurance company will pay them, and they begin to get famous with this lifestyle. So there's actually something that happened to Alex here. He was once poor, but once he joined the Sons of None guy, he began to have money through the illicit dealings they're involved in, began to acquire wealth to himself, began to ride in different sort of cars, living every sort of expensive life. And his sister could sense that, oh, he's not making a pure money. He actually lied to his parents at home that he's working with one of the biggest restaurants in town, and that's why he's having all this kind of money. And another funny thing is that whenever he's going to work, he would put on a fake clothes like someone who actually worked in the restaurant. But when he got out, he would change it and begin a gang lifestyle. So Alex's life take on tons of different sort of illicit happenings. Sometimes he go kill people, then after the killing had already taken place, he would throw the gun away in order to avoid recognition. He would remove his clothes and he would even burn the car that he went on for the robbery. So all of this keep unfolding, and Alex begin to gain wealth for himself, begin to get name, begin to get famous, begin to get well known in the community, wealth and etc. At a particular point, he had a girlfriend called Lola. Lola eventually knew what Alex was dealing in, and most time she begs him to live this kind of life. Most time she pleads with him that, oh no, Alex, you can continue like this. I love you so much, but I don't think your character or your personality at this time will make you look like someone that I would love to spend the rest of my life with. So, warning keep coming to Alex from his sister Kyra, from Lola, his girlfriend, which eventually Lola left him because of his lifestyle. She said, okay, if you're not going to live your lifestyle, then I don't think I can continue this relationship. I'm sorry, I just have to leave. Then another kind of warning come from Arthur, which is actually the pastor, to Alex. But all of this fall into Alex's deaf ears. It fall into deaf ears. His younger brother, back at home, that's Daniel, is actually dealing in pure business. He's involved in real estate. He's not doing anything illegal, and all of his things are very nice. characters, all of its works and actions are very interesting. Another thing I would love to say is that this book is not only talking about the story of Alex. There are some multiple characters whose story were told alongside, talking about Smooth, talking about some Alex gang, talking about Kyra and her wedding ceremony and how she eventually got married to Robert and the sort of life that they live afterward. It also delved into the story of Alex's younger brother, Daniel. But I wouldn't love to go much or continue in what happened, what eventually happened to Alex, even though there's sometimes that his skill tree is out. Even though there's sometimes that he performed some robbery and he never got caught. Even though there's sometimes that he burns car, kill people and he never got caught. But I would love to say fully what eventually happened to Alex in this novel. I just love you to check out what happened or what transition do Alex's life take after exchange from a good guy into a bad guy, and the kind of life that he lived as a gangster and a sort of the aftermath that actually came afterward. He was very rich, but I wouldn't love to talk much about this book. I just want to give a short video book recommendation for you to have an idea of what this book is all about. So I won't be moving forward in this review in an attempt to keep it spoiler free, but I love to say that I love James Michels' writing style. I love his use of word. I love his storytelling techniques. I love his choice of word. The book actually reads like a movie. It is enthralling. It is moralizing. It adds a lot of information to Paxson, and a bit of it delve into history. And I just love it, and it sincerely owns my honest recommendation. James Michels is also the author of this book that I got here, The Ballad of Carlo, which I plan reviewing next month. After I've read this book, Ice Rising, I fell engrossed with this book. I become engrossed with its storytelling techniques. I become engrossed with its writing style, and I'm a fan of his work. And I'm also looking forward to reading this book also by him, The Ballad of Carlo. So if you'd like to get a copy of this book, Ice Rising, I left a link in the description part of this video for you to get a copy directly on Amazon. And if you watch this video to this point and you're yet to click on the subscribe button, I want to urge you to please click on the subscribe button over there. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you can get notified anytime I release new videos. Thank you very much for watching my short video book recommendation of Ice Rising by James Michels. See you in my next video. Goodbye.